Hello, I'm Ken Bode. Usually when I work in television, it is public television, Friday evenings, Washington Week in Review. But I also teach at DePauw, and I'm glad to help out with this program for annual fund volunteers. So, welcome. You and nearly 600 other alumni work hard each year to help raise the millions in annual fund gifts that the university relies on. Whether you're a class agent or a class fund manager, a novice or a veteran, there's something in this program for you. Over the next 15 minutes, we're going to explore the process of soliciting classmates for the annual fund. You'll learn how to prepare for a call, how to make the case for the annual fund, and how to wrap it up, successfully, we hope. You'll also watch volunteers work through a number of solicitations so that you can see how to handle the normal ups and downs of a call. By the end of the program, you'll be ready to go. Before we begin, let's hear a word from the president of DePauw, Dr. Robert Bottoms. Bob?
Thank you, Ken. It's a privilege for me to have the opportunity to talk to you about the importance of the annual fund at DePauw University. Because tuition currently approaches almost $15,000 a year, many people think that we can operate the university on tuition income alone. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you carefully examine this year's budget at DePauw, you find that tuition only contributes 68% of our operating budget. Where does the rest of the money come from? It comes from income from the endowment, which has been so generously donated by our alumni, and from the annual fund. Because the annual fund currently is almost $3 million a year, it has become a significant part of life at the university. What do we use this money for? A large portion of the annual fund goes for scholarships. Many people find they could not send their sons or daughters to DePauw without financial assistance, and this is provided by the annual fund. It also allows us to provide merit scholarships to the very best and brightest people in our applicant pool in a very competitive market for bright students. We use the money for faculty salaries. We want to maintain the high level of faculty competence that we had when you were in school. We compete nationally for faculty, and we have to be competitive in our salary structure if we are to be able to hire our first choice. We use monies for faculty development to ensure that our courses are updated regularly and that we incorporate technology across the curriculum. So I hope you can see that the annual fund is very important to us. The $3 million is essential if we are to continue to enhance the academic program at DePauw. Soon you'll be calling on your friends and classmates. I know you'll have a good time rekindling memories of DePauw, and I hope you'll be able to impress upon them the importance of this year's annual fund. I wish you well.
Thank you, President Bottoms. I'm Anne Kraege, and I've been an annual fund volunteer for many years. Experience has taught me that preparing for the solicitation is what leads to a conversation that makes both you and your prospect happy in the end. Now, when I say preparation, I'm referring to a lot of things. First, review the calling cards for the people you will call. You'll know most of them fairly well since they are from your DePauw Living Unit. Establishing rapport with your prospects, as we call them, is easy, and many of them will know why you're calling. Second, be careful to check what last year's gift was and know what you plan to ask for this year. If your prospect is a regular annual fund donor, focus on how an increased gift this year can help DePauw. If your prospect isn't a regular donor, try to get the person on board with a gift equal to the last one made, and stress the importance of their participation in the annual fund. If your prospect has never made a gift to the annual fund, you'll be asking for their first donation, and it will be very important not to focus on the dollar amount. We want to count them as a donor. Now, in order to be up to date on what's going on at DePauw and informed about how DePauw uses annual fund gifts, you'll need to do your homework. The 4 publications that I rely upon most for information are the Alumni Magazine, the Volunteer Newsletter, the Briefings Report, and the Annual Fund Brochure. Together, these 4 publications tell me not only what's going on campus, but about the programs and facilities and the people that the annual fund supports. Get familiar with all of this before you start calling. You're going to get the questions, I promise you, and you'll be a lot more effective if you're informed. Now for the basics. I usually make my phone calls during the day because that's the time I'm most likely to contact someone. Plus, a daytime call to someone's business is more likely to be returned if I don't connect the first time. A message on an answering machine can be ignored or forgotten. And don't expect that people are going to call you back. You're going to need to try again if you don't reach them the first time. Another tip, take notes as you talk with prospects. That way, when it's time to fill out the calling cards, you won't be relying on memory. Now for the most important thing to remember when you ask someone for a gift over the telephone. These are the words to use. Will you consider a gift this year of X dollars? Ask for a specific amount and then don't say another word. Your prospect will be doing exactly what you've asked her to do, considering a specific gift. Don't start to speak again until you've received a response. Let them take their time. And no matter what the response, make sure that you say thank you for both the pledge to the annual fund and for taking the time to speak with you. Enough talking about it. Let's see some real examples of how it all works together. This first scenario will feature a volunteer who wants her prospect to make an increased annual fund gift this year. Let's watch.
Hello.
Hello, this is Brenda McBride. May I speak with Donna Wilson?
This is Donna. Hi, Brenda. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Keeping very busy, thank you.
How are your kids?
That's why I'm so busy, running from kindergarten carpool to t-ball practice all the time.
Oh, I bet. Once you've got more than one child, you're on the go all the time.
Well, and I know you know what that's like, too.
I sure do.
Listen, Donna, one of the reasons I'm calling today is on behalf of DePauw's annual fund.
I thought I'd be hearing from you sometime soon.
Everybody says that. Anyway, I know that last year you made a generous contribution to the annual fund, and I wanted to thank you for that gift and ask if you might consider doing it again.
I think I can certainly repeat my gift from last year.
Well, good. Would you be willing to consider increasing that gift to $300?
I don't know. I've been pretty comfortable giving at the $250 level.
Well, I know, but this year we're asking everyone if they might consider increasing their gifts so that we can be assured of reaching our goal.
Well, I have been trying to keep informed by reading the DePaul magazine and the other materials I've been receiving.
Then you know about the good work that DePauw is doing for its students. Do you think that you might consider that increase?
Okay, go ahead and put me down for $300 for this year. I think I can do that.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and DePauw appreciates your support.
Well, thank you, and you take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now, what did Brenda do correctly? Just about everything. She smoothly established rapport with Donna. She came right to the point of the call when it was time. She asked Donna to consider the increased gift and gave her a reason for doing it. She waited for Donna to respond, and she thanked her before ending the call. Now let's watch a volunteer speak with an alum who is a very sporadic annual fund donor. In this instance, the volunteer will also be talking about their class's upcoming reunion and will try to use it as an incentive. Let's see how he does.
Hello.
Hi, Gary. It's Steve Gawley.
Oh, hi, Steve.
Well, how you doing?
Well, can't complain.
Yeah. How's Regina and the family?
They're all fine, thank you. In fact, we're sending our daughter off to college this year.
No kidding. Where to?
Well, we're not sure yet, but we're considering DePauw.
Wow. That would be great. I'll bet it makes you feel kind of old.
Well, it sure doesn't help.
Well, listen, Gary, speaking of feeling old, our 25th reunion is coming up this June, and I'm calling to see if you'd be thinking about coming back for the reunion.
Well, we're not certain, but we'll try.
Well, we're trying to get as many of the guys back as possible. The more of us that get back, the better time we have, and we'd sure like to see you there.
Well, like I say, we'll try. I'm not certain at this point.
Okay.
Well, it'll be a great weekend. Did you go to the 20th reunion?
No, we didn't make that one.
No, I didn't either. I was planning on it, but one thing led to another, and the first thing you know, the summer was gone and I'd missed it. Well, I hope to see you at the 25th, and that'd be just terrific if you can be there.
Well, we have to check our calendar.
Okay. Gary, one of the other reasons I'm calling you is I'm a volunteer on the Class Fund Gift Committee.
We're trying to put together a nice gift for our 25th reunion in the annual fund. I know that it's been a couple of years since you've given, and I was hoping the fact that it was our 25th might be a good reason for you to get back on board.
Well, sure. Put me down for $50.
Oh, that's great, Gary. I really appreciate that. I was wondering, though, I think a couple of years ago you'd made a gift, and I think it was like $200. I was wondering, could you consider a gift of $200 this year?
Well, I don't know, Steve. I'm not sure I care quite that much.
Well, I can understand that.
Listen, does ABC Corporation still match your gifts?
Yes, I believe they do.
That's great. How about this? Would you consider making a gift of $100 and then getting the matching gift forms from ABC Corporation, sending those in? ABC matches a gift of $100 from you, and that puts $200 into our class gift. So that'd be just terrific if you could do that.
Well, okay, put me down for $100 and I'll get the matching gift form sent in, and that'll give you $200.
Hey, thanks, Gary. Really appreciate it. I know DePauw appreciates it. And I really do hope you can make it back for our reunion in June. The more of us that get back together, the better time we'll have.
Well, we're sure going to try.
Okay, I'm counting on it, Gary. I'm going to see you in June.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Well, that was interesting. Gary wasn't going to make it easy, but Steve did a good job staying with him and letting the reunion carry a lot of the weight of the solicitation. Reunions, by the way, are one of the most effective ways to get lapsed donors to come back, and a good opportunity to encourage gifts and participation at the same time. And matching gifts will often double or even triple the total amount of a gift to DePauw. Don't forget to ask about your prospect's eligibility for Matching Gifts program. Now let's watch a completely different kind of call. You're going to see two young alumni talk about the annual fund. If you're a recent grad who's now volunteering for the annual fund, you'll want to watch closely because the upcoming conversation is typical of those you'll have.
Hello?
Hi, is Jen there?
Yes, this is Jen.
Hi, Jen. It's Julie Tippett.
Hi.
How are you doing?
You?
I'm good. What's going on?
Not much.
Yeah, are you at work?
Yes.
Did I catch you at a bad time?
No, you didn't. Yeah, I'm actually trying to break into politics still.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm just, I'm sort of doing volunteer work and temp work, but, it's going well.
Great.
Things are going well. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm living in Chicago. I'm working at a PR firm.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I like it. The pay is not so good, and Chicago's really expensive, so.
Right, I know.
But it's hard for me to afford too much.
Yeah.
And speaking of affording things, I do have a hidden agenda as to why I called.
Oh.
I'm serving as our class agent for the DePauw Annual Fund, which means I get to call and ask you if you would like to make a pledge this year.
Now, what is the annual fund exactly?
Well, it's the money that alumni and parents contribute every year to cover all sorts of different things like tuition costs, faculty salaries, convocations, winter terms, all of our fellows programs, all sorts of different things, day-to-day operating expenses too.
It's really important, I think, to give back at this point and just try to start that pattern. So what do you think about making a $5 pledge?
I would love to, but I don't have any money.
I hear that a lot. But what if I told you you'd only need to give a really small amount? Even $5 would help us.
Really? No,
Yeah.
why is that?
I'll tell you why. We could count you as a donor if you give just $5.
And what that means for DePauw is that you will increase our percentage of alumni giving.
Okay, well, I can give you $5, but that's all.
Okay, great. Well, good luck on the job search.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Too. Bye.
Young alumni often think that giving to the annual fund is for older alums, or that whatever they can afford to give won't make a difference. But Julie did such a good job of making the case for participation that a donor is a donor is a donor no matter how large the gift. The goal with young alumni is just to get them into the habit of giving early, at whatever level. As their incomes grow, so usually will their gifts to DePauw. Before we go on, let me say a few words about participation. In the annual fund, we raise dollars and we raise donors. Now, it may not sound like a difficult task to raise the percentage of participation by 3 or 4 or 5 points in a year, but consider this. Each year, hundreds of donors don't repeat from the previous year, so they need to be replaced just for the annual fund to stay even. And then, to raise the percentage just 1 point, we have to find another 400 donors. This is why getting a gift of any amount is better than getting a refusal from someone who doesn't want to give what you ask for. You can always negotiate. Work your way down if you have to, and know that any gift is going to help. Speaking of refusals, I'm sure that many of you are wondering how often it will happen and what it will be like to have someone say to you, no. Well, from my experience, I can say that it isn't the most pleasant result, but it does happen. The best thing to do when it does is to respect your prospect's decision. It is not always easy for them to refuse DePauw and the case that you've made on its behalf. Let's watch a conversation like this and see how our volunteer handles it.
This is Brad Simmons.
Brad, Jason Petrovich, how are you?
Oh, Jason, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I lost track of you for a while. I haven't seen you since graduation. What's it been, 3, maybe 4 years?
Yeah, I guess so.
I found out, though, that you're out in Denver. Do you like it out there?
Yeah, I do. It's a beautiful place to be all year round. I've really enjoyed it.
And what about Beth? Does she like it out there as well?
Yes, yeah, she does. She really enjoys all the outdoor sports and everything, just like me.
Mm-hmm. That's good to hear that.
Let me tell you why I'm calling, Brad. I'm doing some volunteer work for the annual fund office at DePauw.
Oh, so you're asking for money, right?
Well, let's not jump to conclusions here, but you're right, I am. I've called about 4 or 5 of our friends so far, and nobody has said no, believe it or not.
Nobody?
Well, pretty much nobody. I've gotten a great response from everybody, and
I want you to think about giving $25 this year to the annual fund. It'd be
really great to start giving right now at an early age, because as we grow older, we're going to look back at DePauw and see how wonderful it was. And
if we want it to remain that way, then it's going to be dependent upon people like us that continue to support it.
Well, I know what you're trying to do, and that's great, but just can't give a dime right now, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Well, the annual fund's important, so I appreciate it if you would just keep us in the back of your mind, and I'm going to call you next year because I'm going to keep on doing this.
Okay.
Okay?
All
well,
right.
If you're in Chicago, give me a call. I look forward to seeing you and Beth. All right?
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's tough to get a no, but Jason handled it well. He pushed the issue without really pushing. He hit on a couple of things that might have made a difference: the responsibility for giving back when you've been supported, as well as a little peer pressure on behalf of the fraternity. But Brad wasn't going to say yes. So Jason quickly accepted the response and changed the subject. Now finally, let's watch one last volunteer in action. This time the solicitation is headed toward a refusal, but the volunteer turns it around successfully. Here we go.
Hello.
Hi, Ev. This is Sharon Brock. How are you?
Well, hello, Sharon. I'm very well. How about you?
I'm fine. How's your family?
Oh, everyone's doing fine. Yours?
We're fine, too. Keith and I have been doing some major remodeling, so it's been a busy time.
Oh, I guess it must be.
The reason I'm calling, I'm the class agent this year for the Alpha Chi's.
Uh-huh.
So I'm calling to encourage you to consider supporting DePauw's annual fund this year. Are you familiar with the annual fund and what it's for?
Well,
I know that I get a lot of mail about it.
yes, I do, too. Well, basically, the annual fund money raised each year goes right into the university's operating budget. It's kind of like a checking account.
So the funds that we contribute are used right away for the programs and needs that are most pressing.
You know, Sharon, I appreciate you calling and what you're doing.
But I don't think I'm going to make a gift this year.
Oh, Eb, that's too bad. Do you mind telling me why?
Well, I receive so many requests for money from so many different organizations, and I just can't give to all of them.
Even though this is DePauw asking you?
I'm afraid so. Let's be honest, Sharon. DePauw doesn't need my money.
Why do you say that, Ev?
Well, I know how much they charge.
And I know there are some very wealthy alums, unlike me, whom I'm sure help them out.
Oh, Ev, I think I may have given you the wrong impression.
If our annual fund didn't exist, DePauw actually would have to charge the students a great deal more tuition.
And did you know that nearly 80% of the students on campus receive some type of financial assistance?
You'd be supporting the kids just like you and I were when we were in school. Neither of our families could afford the whole thing without some help.
I had no idea that the percentage of students who received aid was that high.
I guess it's a sign of the times.
It is, and a huge chunk of the annual fund goes right into the financial aid budget every year.
And Ev, I'm asking you just to give what you feel you can. I'm not asking you for a large gift. The main thing is that we all of us from our class, give something and show our support.
Well, you know there's a campaign on for a refurbished Afakai house.
I know, and I hope to give something to that as well. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can afford to do both. Would you consider a $50 gift to the annual fund?
Well, why don't I say that I will do something?
Is $50 too much? I'd really like to report that our class plans to give a specific amount.
Okay, $50 it is. And Sharon, is there any way that I can make sure that my contribution goes towards scholarships?
Sure, I'm making a note of it right now as we speak. Thank you so much, Ev. I really appreciate your support for the university. It's been great talking to you.
Great talking to you, Sharon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That conversation was very well handled. Good job, Sharon. Let's review how she wrapped that up so nicely. First, she was straightforward with Ev about why she was calling. She made the case for the annual fund and did some educating at the same time. She asked for a specific amount. She listened to and responded to Ev's objections effectively. She confirmed the amount of the gift, and she thanked Ev for her support. Good luck in serving as an annual fund volunteer. I'm sure it will be the same satisfying experience for you that it has been for me. And remember, DePauw couldn't thrive without a strong annual fund, and the annual fund can't be successful without you.
Thanks, Anne, for those words, and thank you for what you're about to do on behalf of DePauw.